you ever wondered how to make money when you first start playing old school RuneScape? Not only are you limited by level and requirements, but you are also on the free-to-play version of the game, and this reduces the options you have to earn that big pile of GP. Have no fear! Here are my top 5 ways to make money in old school RuneScape with no requirements whatsoever. Let's start our journey at the Grand Exchange. The first problem we encounter is that actually at such a low level, Jagex have actually denied the ability to trade certain items. Your account will be restricted for trading until the account has 10 quest points, a skill total of 100, and has spent 20 hours in the game. I don't think this character that I've got here has actually done any of those things, so we have a bit of an issue with trading on the Grand Exchange. But it only applies to some items. So let's get straight into it. Here's method 1. Team capes. We're going to start out in Edgeville, right up next to the wilderness ditch. Perfectly safe method of earning money as well. So you start out with some money, and you come and talk to this guy called Richard. You trade with him, and you can buy as many of these capes as you like. I've found the most effective one to be Team Cape 6 in terms of resale value. So it's costing 62 GP. What you're going to do is you're going to buy as many as you can, and the brilliant thing about this method is that you're right next to the bank. So you bring all your capes in, you come up, you deposit them all, and away you go. Repeat, 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 and as soon as he's depleted, because as you'll see, he doesn't get them over and over again. So I've depleted that myself. What you can do is just quickly switch worlds to another world, and then you'll be able to continue buying. The only slight thing with this method is I have found that you can actually flood the market yourself, literally yourself. It's probably better than double moneymaker. If you head to the Grand Exchange now, you'll be able to essentially double that money to about something like 140 GP. This is pretty effective. I mean, I've found that I could probably make about 200k per hour doing this, but that's probably where it'll end because you flooded the market until perhaps the next day when you can start again. But let's be honest, 200k an hour for a combat level 4 character is pretty damn good. Okay, method 2. Pie shelling. So this method I haven't found as effective. I think it's been slightly overcooked, excuse the pun. It's probably could generate you about 200k an hour if the market was looking for it. I've made a bit of money doing this, but it's quite tedious, and the profit margins aren't quite as good as the Team Capes method I've found. But you could probably still make about 200k an hour if you can get the right conditions. Essentially, you just buy up loads of pastry doughs, loads of pie dishes, again all free to play items, easily done. You combine the two. We want to make all our pie shells, so it does it automatically for you. So as you can see, they're producing here. This is a production method of making money, which, as I say, they can get a little bit dull. Rather than moving around, you're simply standing at the Grand Exchange making pie shells. But you know, money's money. So yeah, you can just go ahead and sell those pie shells, and that's the profit margin in there is good enough to eat. But it's, as I say, it's fairly boring. I personally wouldn't think that this is the best way to do it these days. But it's up to you. Method 3. Method 3 is the feather pack method, which is pretty effective if you can play it right and you've got enough cash to do so. So you come down to Port Sarim and talk to a guy called Geraint. If you trade with him, he sells feather packs. Now feather packs come like this, and the key here is not to buy a full inventory's worth, because the profit will decrease when you do that, because when you buy more than 10 at a time, the price increases and reduces your profit. So buy 10, open them, and then the rest of them will open automatically, giving you these 100 feathers at a time. Feathers are always in demand for fletching, so it's pretty easy to sell them on the Grand Exchange. So as you can see there, I've now got 1,000. By the time you come back, the shop's replenished. You simply buy another 10 packs, open them, and again, by the time you finish doing that, the shop will be replenished again. It really is this simple, and you can stand and do this relentlessly, depending on how much money you've got to begin with. The best play is to come with a fair amount of money, and if you've got a whole day, or you know, you can really rack up some money. The profit margin is very small on this, but you can get into the thousands and thousands and thousands at a time just by continuously buying them, and then eventually going to the Grand Exchange and selling them. Okay, so method 4 brings us to lovely Draenor village, and we're going to be making dyes with a woman called Aggie. So I think the most profitable version of this is actually making the red dyes. In fact, the chart's been pretty healthy on that recently, but I've struggled to get red berries for that method. So instead I'm going with the blue dye, which you simply stack up on woad leaves, come down to Draenor village and smash that spacebar to make those blue dyes. Now, this method can potentially put out around 150 to 200k an hour. It's a little bit labour intensive, as you've got to continuously click on Aggie to get her to make them for you one at a time. It's not like the other methods where you fill up your bag automatically and continuously. But yeah, pretty healthy profit on this one. The blue dye seems to sell pretty well on the GE. Sometimes you've got to wait a small while, but they do sell because they are a requirement for multiple things. So yeah, this is another great method that I've found to be really effective and quite relaxing actually, as you simply click, click, click. Then once you've filled up your inventory, you can pop straight out and run round once again to the bank, which again is really close by for this method. Stick them in your bank and away you go. Yeah, I mean you're getting a good, a woad leaf is, so they're 35 GP each currently, so you buy up 2 of those to trade with her. Then I think there's 5 GP trade with her to do this, so you can then go on to sell them for about 150 each. So yeah, there is a good sort of double of money there, and you can continuously do this, depending on how many woad leaves you've got and how much money you've got in your wallet. You can do this all day long. So yeah, another great method there. Our 5th and final method is one I remember doing way back in the day: tanning leather. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. You can either just straight up buy cowhides off of the Grand Exchange. They're currently selling for about 140 GP each, or you can pop around the corner and just kill some cows and get them yourself. You then come to Alcarid and come to Ellis's shop. You simply trade with him. At the minute, soft leather is actually worth more than hard leather. Prices fluctuate on both of these, so try and ensure that you're doing the one which is going to make you the most profit, and you just tan all. All are done all at once, and you simply run round to the bank. Again, another really easy way to make money, as these are currently selling for about 219 GP. You can do about 2,000 leathers an hour, meaning that you can potentially make something like 150 to 200k an hour. This is a really, really well-known method, a really good method, because leather's used in loads of different things in the game, so it's an almost guaranteed sale when you get back to the Grand Exchange, and also a really enjoyable one, just running between the two places, tanning leather. Well, after a hard day's earning GP, I'm off for a beer in the Blue Moon Inn. Help me pay for these beers by subscribing to my channel, liking and leaving a comment. And I'll see you next time!